Another Japanese showcase auction has ended. The first one took place back in October 2023, so it had been like 8 months since we had one of these at Heritage Auctions. And since it's been so long, and since we just had 150 games sell at this auction, let's do an update video here on what I think about Japanese games. Should you be buying, selling? What does the state of the Japanese video game market, sealed and graded of course, what does that look like right now? And I actually did have 7 games that I sold in this very auction, so I'm gonna go over those as well, as they tie into my thoughts here about the overall market. But before we get into it, just a quick shout for today's video sponsor, Heritage Auctions. There will be another Japanese showcase auction coming up in December of this year, so if you want to get into that, if you have some brand new, sealed, graded, expensive, if you have really good Japanese video games that you think would be suited for an auction like this, that's going to be coming up December 5th, consignment deadline October 22nd, and of course a bunch of other great showcase auctions, including Ages of Sega video games, 6th generation and beyond showcase. There's even one for Atari and other pre-Nintendo consoles coming up later this year. And of course, they're always taking quality consignments for the weekly auctions that we stream every single Tuesday right here on YouTube. Videogames@ha.com to reach out with any questions or to get free appraisals on your stuff. Thanks to Heritage for sponsoring this video. Let's talk about Japanese video games. So just in general here, before we start talking about too many individual listings, like right at the top of the auction, Pokemon Emerald selling for $9,375, right? VGA 90 includes the adapter. Beautiful copy, almost $10,000. Of course, the last time Emerald with an adapter sold, it was a 95 that sold at the first showcase auction back October 2023 for $19,200. So before we start talking about all of these individual sales, let's just talk about the market in general. Where are we at right now? The way I see it, we are still largely going through price discovery here. A lot of people are guessing as to what will sell high, what will sell low, what is a good price to pay, what's overpaying. There's a lot of guesswork taking place right now. We do have the VGA pop report that does exist now, so just as an example here, I typed in Gekame Ninja Den, which is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and right here you can see the Japanese Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 85 plus sold for $6,000. Genuinely, this was one of the most surprising sales of the entire auction for me right here. So $6,000. We can look and we can say, hey, that is the second highest graded copy, which seems insane, right? There is a VGA 90, so $6,000 for the second highest graded copy. There's only 2 of them total on the pop report. In the first Japanese auction we had, we did not have the VGA pop reports. We only have those since April of this year. So there is a lot more information for people to use now this time around. But the issue with the VGA pop reports is Japanese stuff in general, especially grading Japanese stuff, has not been popular for long. So VGA probably has been grading stuff like this for over 10 years, maybe even 15 years. People could send in their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles if they happen to own unopened or qualified copies of the game. But in general, it would probably be in the hands of Japanese collectors, and how many Japanese collectors throughout the years are really going to ship their stuff across the ocean to VGA to get it graded, especially when the values just aren't there. So we have this for $6,000, it's a pop 2, and with this price discovery I'm talking about here, it is impossible right now for the market to know how many of these truly exist. How many of these are in the hands of Japanese collectors? How many of these might show up now after news of this $6,000 sale breaks? So we have these spots where the supply is quite unknown, the VGA pop report says it's super rare, and it sells for $6,000. It is incredibly difficult to evaluate sales like this because it genuinely is just anybody's guess. In my opinion, it's way too much money, way too fast. There's nothing right now to say that the Japanese version of Ninja Turtles is going to be sought after. Like Turtles for $6,000, Emerald here went for $9,300, Pokemon Blue for $6,200. These are very real prices. With Turtles, I mean, you can just go buy a North American copy for $6,000, and those are the ones that people have already established as being sought after, valuable, all that stuff. And there's a lot of nuance with a lot of this Japanese stuff, variants that I don't know how many people know, and I don't even know what I know still about variants for this stuff. It's still very new in that regard. The Pokemon Blue VGA 95, someone asked me, why did it only sell for $6,200? Is the Japanese market dead already? So here's a 90 plus lower grade copy selling for $8,400. This was at the Heritage Signature Auction in May. So on the back of this copy, this is the male version, and you can see that there was no UPC on the game. If we go over to this one, you can see on the back, big UPC block. The Pokemon Blue in Japan Japan was originally only available as a mail order only special edition of subscribers of Koro comic October 15th, 1996. Then the retail release came October 10th, 1999. So this copy here that has the UPC on it, this is actually a 1999 retail copy. This is the much more available copy of Blue. This is the much more common one. It's the same as North American Pokemon variants, right? Sandshrew Red sells for more than Rattata Red. And with stuff like Pokemon Blue, I mean, the bidders at least knew enough to not blow this up past the mail order copy. But a lot of people still looking at this, a lot of people deciding if they should bid or not, might not know variants like this. Rockman 7 here goes for $5,000 as well, which didn't surprise me at all. Mega Man 7 in North America is already established, super expensive, super rare, and there's absolutely crossover when the North American copy's already expensive. We see that in probably the biggest way here. Secret of Mana, right? Senken Densetsu number 2, 85 plus, selling for $3,000 US dollars. This is a game that's still largely available. This is what I mean with everyone's just guessing price discovery. The information that everyone has is not equal. The information that people are going off of, like, this is bad, this is way too much money to spend on this game. And just to take it a step further here, right, that copy on Heritage was an 85 plus that sold for $3,000. I have my 9.6 CGC unopened, exact same game here. I posted mine to eBay for $1,800, almost half the price of the Heritage sale, and I have no offers whatsoever. No one wants this thing. So these Heritage auction sales are absolutely still getting some price points. Super Contra here for $3,000. The Heritage sales are absolutely getting some price points that only exist here. Pocket Monster Stadium VGA 95 goes for $3,250. This is 100% thanks to the grade. But how many people know that you can just go buy Pocket Monster Stadium big box unopened off of Yahoo Japan auctions right now for like $200 US? Might not be a 95, but in general, this game is very available. And same with the Final Fantasy VI sitting right beside it. 9.8 for $3,375. These sell almost bi-weekly on Yahoo Japan auctions, brand new, unopened, probably case fresh, honestly. There's a lot of these going around. They sell for something like $500-600 bucks. At least something with Minish Cap here, $3,750. I think that's a lot of money to spend on Game Boy Advance Minish Cap, 90 plus. But at least in my own browsing of Yahoo Japan auctions, like looking around in Japan, I haven't seen Minish Cap. I haven't had an opportunity to buy it in 2 years of searching. So at least someone paying $3,700 for this? It's not super common. It's not super available. So what I kind of see in these auctions now are some of these super popular games, super well-known brand name games. Final Fantasy V here as well, 90 plus for $2,000. You can buy an entire case of these for $2,000. Like a factory case, I'm pretty sure is sitting on Yahoo Japan auctions for $2,000. So with a lot of this stuff, there's absolutely big name brand titles that North American collectors associate with that are then being graded and sold here on Heritage auctions, and some of the prices are simply too high. Some people participating in the auctions simply don't know what is or isn't available. And in that, there's a lot of opportunity to quote unquote dump some stuff that isn't necessarily great. Here's Purple Box Duck Hunt, right? VGA 85. I think I personally own 4 of these, and I paid $100 each for them. And they still come up for auction in Yahoo Japan auctions. They come up every 2 or 3 weeks. They sell for about $100. VGA 85 isn't even a good grade. So again, it's the Duck Hunt name, it's NES, Black Box Duck Hunt is super expensive, so people are paying for the Japanese version of Duck Hunt. Just kind of correlating, right? If the North American copy is expensive, then surely the Japanese copy is going to be super expensive. And yeah, there's going to be some value. I don't necessarily disagree with that mindset, but the absolute availability of something like Duck Hunt here is just not well known to everybody yet. And that's not to say everything selling is just overpriced or not worth it or anything like that. Like Pocket Monsters Leaf Green, VGA 90 plus for $3,500. I don't know where you're going to get another copy. Like, these aren't super common, available, brand new, unopened, right? So if you want a 90 plus, it's Pokemon, you're gonna be paying for it no matter what. Same with something like Rockman 3 here, 85 plus. I don't think I've seen a single copy get posted over the years, sold for $2,000. That might end up being a great purchase for a Rockman collector. Resident Evil 85 plus sold for $1,875. I'm pretty sure raw copies of this still sell for close to $1,000 US, so you're paying an extra $800-ish to have it already graded 85. 85, already authentic. Like that's not that much of a markup on something like Biohazard either. I just don't want you guys to think that I'm saying everything selling in these auctions right now is overpriced, because that's not what it is. But some of this stuff is just selling a bit too high compared to what you could source it for, and how easy it is to source some of this stuff. But on the exact opposite side, some stuff is simply selling too cheap as well compared to how relatively difficult it is to source it. And some of my games fall into this category. At the bottom of the auction, there was a 9.4 complete in-box Ocarina of Time for $89. That's like, what, the cost of grading plus shipping? Like, it sold for nothing, right? But whatever, it's a CIB, doesn't really matter. Silhouette Mirage is a 9.8A plus on PS1 for $124. Donkey Kong Country 2 is an 8.5 unopened for $139. One of my games that sold this auction, Tekken 3, 9.6A plus for $162.50. That is basically the cost I paid plus shipping plus grading. I don't even think I profit on this, buying it out of Japan, getting it graded, sending it to Heritage, right? And Tekken 3 is a good title, but I think the 9.6A plus there does really hurt. It's kind of another thing I noticed in this auction, is the same with VGA 85s or a CGC 8.5, like this Donkey Kong 2, right? Some of the lower grade stuff really didn't get appreciated for just being difficult to find. Like VGA 85 bonks here for $187.50. You will have far more difficulty actually sourcing one of these from Japan, getting it graded, all that stuff, than you would just paying $187.50. One of the games I purchased in this auction was Mario Kart Double Dash, $225 US. I am near positive that if a brand new copy popped up on Yahoo Japan auctions, I'd be paying close to $200 US anyway. So to get an 85, and again, right, the 85 just kind of not getting respect, kind of not being appreciated, $225 for that. I'm very happy. And with one of the games I sold, I will outright say that I'm not super happy with the price that it went for. It was this brand new Star Fox on Super Nintendo, right? VGA 80 sold for $412.50. Now, it's not a big issue. Like, I bought it from PWCC. I paid $252 almost 2 years ago now. Same with Dr. Mario here. I bought both of these games from PWCC October 2022. Yeah, almost 2 years ago. That's crazy. So then it sold for $412.50. With the hammer, that's $330. So I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of profit there. At the end of the day, though, I get it. It's a VGA 80. It's not the best grade in the world. But if you actually want to find a brand new copy of this, you're going to have a lot more difficulty than the price I sold it for here. So with some stuff being way too expensive, I do think some of this stuff in the $100 to $500 range is simply being underappreciated as well. Because if you try to buy some of this stuff ungraded and send it for grading yourself, like getting this Fire Emblem 9.4, $350, it's gonna cost you around that much to do it anyway. And when you're buying raw, this Japanese stuff without seals, you don't know if you're getting an authentic copy, an actual unopened copy. Maybe you get bait and switched, right? So within this auction for 150 games, you definitely have some stuff selling for too much. And then you have Soul Calibur 9.8A++ for $475. You have Gran Turismo 85+ for $437. This is again getting extremely nice copies of these games without paying that much premium. Just to give a real example here, right? CGC 9.6A plus Silent Hill goes for $550 US. The latest copy that I bought myself out of Japan was $272 US. So instead of paying $272 US, you have to ship it in, maybe $300. You also have to pay to get it graded, call it $350, $360. Paying an extra $190 to have everything already done for you and guaranteed 9.6A plus grade, that's really just not that bad. There's my Dr. Mario I sold as well. The VGA 85 here went for almost $700. That's much better. Much better than the Star Fox did. So with this price discovery, with this uncertainty, with all this guessing, I did sell off 7 of my own Japanese games here. The only ones that weren't duplicates were the Tekken 3 as well as the Dr. Mario. Everything else here, like Star Fox, Pokemon Crystal, Pokemon Pinball, Banjo-Kazooie, and Final Fantasy X, I have duplicates of. So I'm not just dumping all of my Japanese stuff. Like, don't worry, I'm still buying, I'm still watching. and I have my own personal collection of stuff. But as prices are weird, as we're going through this weird discovery time, I'm absolutely going to sell some stuff and try to get some of this money. But I think this conversation has already gone on for a very long time, so if there's anything you're curious about the Japanese auction, any thoughts you have yourself, should we be buying now, selling now, what's going on with Japanese video games, let me know down in the comments below. I'm down to talk about this stuff. I love talking about markets. You guys know that, so let me know your own thoughts. Hit the like button before you go, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.